What to do with all those eggs? Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do with all those eggs. It was unanimous in the comments from my last video of what to do with all the eggs. A lot of us are getting a lot of eggs right now. And so many of y'all want to know how I freeze my eggs. It's simple, but I do something a little bit different than what I used to. Some people ask me if I'd ever water glassed eggs. Yes. It's not one of my favorite things to do. I do not like the overall product of the egg a year later. Now, if it was a have-to situation, yes. If I had no way of freezing the eggs, yes, it's a good thing. That's the way they used to do it. They used to put eggs in a container and salt them down. Just cover them with salt. They also used to use lard or some kind of oil or something like that, and they even castor oil, and they would cover them eggs with that, and they would swear that it would keep them eggs for a long time. That's just not something I'm interested in right now, and I don't figure a lot of the rest of y'all are either. But I'm going to show y'all the easiest way that I freeze my eggs. And there's just one little thing that I do different than what I used to. And the reason is because when you freeze a whole egg, the yolk of the egg doesn't have any water, doesn't have any kind of liquid in it. It's very dense yolk. So once you freeze it and then you thaw that yolk out, it's real rubbery. It doesn't want to scramble up very good. So I'm going to show you the best way to do it. Okay, what I have found for myself in freezing eggs, and you can see here in my bag, I've just got little round things of each one is just one egg. And what I do is I just use my muffin tin. Now, a lot of people have the silicone muffin tins, and them things work really well. I haven't bought any. I just use my regular old, this is non-stick muffin tin. But even though it's non-stick, I usually always spray it too. That way I can pop them out of there. But the one thing about freezing your eggs like this is, I mean, it's simple. But what I do is I will break an egg in a cup or a measuring cup. And I just want to, I'm going to spray. But what I want to do is I want to take a fork and I'm going to scramble that egg up. I'm going to scramble that yolk up. Now, you don't want to scramble it up so much that you put a lot of volume in it, a lot of like foam. When you see the foam, you've mixed it too much. You just want to kind of break that yellow up and mix it up. And if you put a little bit of salt, just a pinch, and I even say that if you put just a little bit of sugar, but I don't want to put no sugar in my eggs, that helps that yolk to stay broke down and not to congeal and be rubbery again. So I just put a little bit of salt. And then I just pour it into each one of my muffin tins just like that. And that's how I will put it. I'll fill all these up and put them in the freezer and freeze it. And then when it's good and solid frozen, give it at least 6 hours. I just pop them out and put them in a freezer bag. And I know that each one of these is one egg. So what I do is I'll take out what I need. If I need 3 eggs, I'll take out 3 of these. put them in a little bowl, and I'll put them in the refrigerator and thaw them out in the refrigerator. So if I need 3 eggs for a cake, or if I want to scramble me and Mr. Brown up some eggs, it would probably take 5 of these, and I would thaw it out in the refrigerator, and I've got my scrambled eggs right there. So that's the easy way. Now you can also mix you up an egg just like I did here, and label your little baggies just like this. These are just little snack baggies. If you want to put 2, or usually most recipes that I make have 3 eggs in it. I mean, for some reason that's just usually what it calls for. You can probably get, I'm pretty sure you can get 3 eggs in here, but 2 eggs, just say you want to do 2 eggs in each little baggie. So you'd mix up, scramble up 2 little eggs in here, put you just a little pinch of salt, pour them in here, and just get the air out real good, and just shut it up good, make sure it's good and shut, and there you've got your eggs in a little plastic bag. And of course you want to make sure you write on it before you do that. And you can stack them pretty easy that way too, because they'll be kind of flat. But when you go to freeze it, put it on a cookie sheet. That way, if one of them does accidentally get open and run, it's not all over your freezer. So, and then once they all get frozen, you can take them off that cookie sheet and place them the way you want to. Now, there's also another way. These little containers here, I got these at the dollar store, and they were $1.25 a piece, and these hold 3 eggs easy. So I would scramble me up 3 eggs, just mix it, break that yolk up on each one, and to put a little salt. I do spray the inside of this just a little bit before I put them in, and put them in there and put the lid on it, and I'll mark it, because I will reuse these every time I freeze eggs. I'll put 3 scrambled eggs on that. That's what I usually put, or just 3 eggs. And then you can stack them pretty easy in your freezer just like that. So it's just about that easy, y'all. But the one thing that I learned after all the years of freezing eggs is to break that yolk up and mix it up a little bit. That way, when it's thawed out, it's not that rubbery yolk that you can't really do much with. So, but this right here is usually the way I do it, and I just fill my bag up and use them how I need them. If I need 2 eggs, 6 eggs, 3 eggs, whichever. So this is my favorite way to do it. So I want to do a couple recipes for you too. I'm thinking I need to make something for supper. So we're going to make us an egg quiche. And you can do a crustless one. If you're on keto or whatever, just leave the crust off. But I'm going to make a crust because me and Mr. Brown like the crust. And this is something that you can also, if you don't eat all of it, after, you know, you've cooked and you've cut it up and you ate all you want, and maybe you've got half of a quiche left, you can wrap it up and freeze it. Take it out and just warm it up. So it's something you can freeze. So I hope this helped y'all to give you an idea how to freeze your eggs. And I will look for the silicone muffin, they're not muffin tins, so I really don't know what you call them, muffin pan, I don't know. Anyways, they're made out of silicone. So I'll look for them for y'all, and I'll put it down in my description box. I'll put the link down there. But this is how I do it, and once I've sprayed it and let them freeze 6 hours or more, they usually, I can take a knife or something and I can pop them right out of there, no problem, and then I just throw them in a bag. So whether if you do it this way, or this way, it works. Just make sure that you break that yolk up. I think it makes all the difference. So, y'all wanted a couple of recipes too. I have got so many recipes to use your eggs with. And some of y'all asked for quiche. Quiche sounded really good for supper tonight because I'm going to be using leftovers. I have went into my refrigerator and I just gathered up what I had. The only thing I don't have that I wish I had is a little bit of fresh spinach. There might be a little bit out in the garden. I may go look and see, but I think I pretty much had already ate most of it already. But anyways, spinach would have been one of them. I love fresh spinach in my quiches. But anyways, I had some bacon and some different things here that I'm going to show you. So just use whatever you have either in your garden, left over in your refrigerator, maybe from supper the night before. If you even had something like boiled potatoes or fried potatoes or something like that, baked potato, and you had some left over, just cut them up a little bit, dice them up, and put them in there with your other stuff. It is delicious in a quiche. So let's see what Miss Lori found to put in this quiche. This is some cut up bacon, chopped up bacon, and it's probably getting close to probably about a cup of chopped up bacon. I will have the recipe down below my video in my in the description box. I always put my recipes down there. You just go down below the video under the title and you click on the word more, or however your computer says, I don't know, and you click on that and all my stuff will come down and you can see the recipes and all my links and stuff. But I had some bacon, so I'm going to render up some bacon. That's, like I said, that's close to a cup, which would probably be, that's probably close to about six slices, 6 rashers of bacon, probably. And then what else I found that needed to be used, of course I had onion, and I sliced up some onion. I had some bell peppers in there that I've been using the last several days in different recipes because I need to get them used up. I had some ham in there, so I diced up some ham. And I've got some little tomatoes here that need to be used. So here in just a minute, when I render this down just a little bit, I'm fixing to throw all this in here and let it cook just a little bit before I mix it up with my eggs. I like to cook, I want my meat to be cooked, and I like to saute my vegetables a little bit before I make my quiche. So while this is cooking, we need to make a pie crust. That's pretty colorful, ain't it? Just all this right here in the pan looks pretty good. And just remember, you just use whatever you got. Some people like to put, if they got a little bit of asparagus, I like to saute a little asparagus and put it in their quiches. Like I said, spinach, you could put mushrooms, stuff like that. Any kind of different meats. You can put some jalapenos. Sky's the limit. I'll put a little bit of pepper. And I'm not going to put any salt because I've got that ham and the bacon in there, and I think that's going to be plenty salt enough. So we'll just let this wilt down just a little bit. Let's get our pie crust made. I'm going to make a butter crust. I've got 1 1¼ cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm just going to take a couple pinches of salt. Now, if I was making a butter crust for something sweet, like a pie or a tart or something like that, I would put a little bit of sugar in here. But since this is a savory I'm not going to put no sugar. Now I'm going to be putting some butter. This is called butter, but it's not. Usually I keep grated butter in the freezer. But anyways, I didn't have any. I ain't worried about it. I'm just going to put me some butter in here. This is 10 tablespoons. I got a little bit of paper on that butter. And all I'm going to do, if my hands will let me, and usually I can do it better with my hands because I can't put enough pressure on it, is I'm just going to work this butter. And I know working it with my hands is going to really soften that butter, but that's okay. It turns out good every time, so I'm not worried about it. So I'm just going to work this butter into my flour. My hands, I seem to do pretty good with them, stuff like this, but to put something in my hand that I have to put pressure down on, I just can't. I can't hardly do it anymore, y'all. My hands just won't let me. So I'm learning to do things differently, which is okay. I want to send out prayers for everybody that's going through so many of these storms, whether if it's flooding or tornado or whatever you're going through. Prayers for y'all, for strength, and to be able to withstand whatever nature brought to you. And I want to send out prayers to everybody that's having health issues. So many people fighting so many things. Okay, I'm not going to work with this much more, and I'm going to get me just a little bit of ice water. I forgot to get my ice water. Now, usually when I would make a pie crust, I would just use my lard and make a crust out of it, but I just wanted a butter crust for this quiche. But you can make any kind. You can use a store-bought. A lot of times I'll keep a store-bought pie crust in my freezer so that I can come in from work and make something like this and not have to worry about, I'm going to put a little bit of flour in there, and not have to worry about making a pie crust. So let me get my ice water. Now everything that was sauteing in my pan is sauteed up good, and I've got it turned off. I'm going to let it cool just a little bit before I stir it into my eggs. So I've got me some ice water, and I'm just going to put enough till it all comes together. It'll be different from time to time. That was probably about 4 tablespoons. I have my oven preheating to 425. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my pie crust in there. And I'm going to let it cook for about, I don't know, 7 to 10 minutes. Just depends on your oven. I pricked a few holes in here. You can put it on a cookie sheet and then put it in there if you want to. But I just want to pre-bake it just a little bit before I put my filling in and put the whole thing in the oven. So I'm going to watch it cook it for about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I have let all this really goodies here cool off. And the tomatoes cooked down good. Everything is good and tender. The bacon was cooked. The bell peppers are tender. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put 6 eggs in a bowl. You know, we talked about this before in my last video, how frugal egg dishes really are. Your egg is your main component, your protein, and you can just do so much with it. So many recipes out there. So we got 6 eggs. I'm going to grab me a little whisk. I'll break up those yolks. Let's see, I've got a half a cup of heavy cream. Now you can just use regular milk if you want to. You can use half and half if you want to. But I'm going to be using heavy cream. Half a cup. I'm going to put me a little bit of salt. Not too much because I know this right here is going to be salty. Let me grab my pepper. Got to have pepper in them eggs. I'm just going to continue to whisk this up really good. Now, if you have a pretty good sized family that you're feeding, you can double the eggs and make you 2 pie crusts and make you 2 quiches, or you can not do the pie crust, double the recipe, spray you a 9x13 baking dish, and just put all this in the baking dish, and that will feed several people. Okay, I got my eggs stirred up good. Now I'm going to put my half a cup of heavy cream. If I didn't have heavy cream, I would just use milk if that's all I had. Most of the time we do have a little bit of half and half. Now if there's any other kind of seasonings that you might want in there, here, just feel free to put it in there. But I just like mine just like this, salt and pepper. Then we're going to put our peppers, onions, bacon, ham, all that yummy stuff. Now, I thought about putting some garlic in here. I'm not real big. Y'all know how much I love my, y'all that have been with me know how much I love my garlic. But I'm not real big on garlic and eggs. To me, that's just, I just can't go there. Some people might like it, so you can put you some garlic in there. And if I'd have had some fresh mushrooms, I'd have put that in there. Some spinach. Anything that I needed to use up. And if y'all are like me, most of the time you go to that refrigerator, there's always something in there that you need to use up. Even in your freezers. I have frozen bell peppers and onions and stuff in there too that need to be used up. Now, I'm going to take me a little bit of cheese. This is just, I think, a mild cheddar. You can use any kind of cheese that you have. This is what I had in my freezer that I had grated up, so that's what I'm using. And I'm just going to stir it into this filling. And I'm going to wait for my pie crust to get just par baked, slightly baked, and then I'm going to bring it out and we'll pour all this into our pie crust. I'm fixing to get my pie crust out of the oven. What I've got here is it's a little shield for the edges of your crust to keep them from burning. You know, stuff like, there's a lot of pies that you have to keep in the oven for quite a while, and the outer edge will get way too done. So I will look on Amazon. I didn't get this one on Amazon. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I picked this up at Kroger's. You know, they have all the kitchenware and stuff there at Kroger's. I'm pretty sure that's where I got that. But I'm sure I can find one. If you're not able to get out and you have to order online, I'm sure I can find another one and put it down in my down below. Okay, the crust is not cooked all the way. It's just what we call par baked. And I'm going to put my filling in there. It smells really, really good. Anything with onions and peppers in it smells delicious. And it's a really good thing that you can freeze it if you don't eat all of it. Now, you can make little mini quiches for those of y'all that like it when I do my cooking for two. You can do little mini quiches. Just use the same recipe, but make maybe probably four little individual quiches, and you can freeze some of them. Be a good idea. So that just fits on there just like that. And I'm going to stick this back in the oven. It's still at 425, and I'm going to let it cook for about 20 minutes. I'll check it to make sure it's firm in the middle and that it's done. Okay, here's our quiche. It cooked for 30 minutes. What you want to do is you just kind of jiggle it like this, and you see how firm it is. It didn't jiggle any in the middle, so that means it's done. But what you need to do is you need to just let it sit here and just let it set for a couple of minutes before you cut into it.
Morning your bow day.
I done put some on there. So when you can eat your quiche with a lot of different things. We've got some salsa verde, which I put on mine, and he's just got some regular salsa here, mild. Of course, both of them's mild.
I put verde and that on mine.
I might put a little bit more on mine. Some people like to put a little sour cream on there. Just anything that you like. But to me, there just ain't anything any better than a quiche. You put all that goodness in there, and then that pie crust. It's hot, isn't it? I can see steam coming from.
See it coming out of my ears?
Yeah. You've been working. You got grass on under your eye.
I've been weed eating.
He's been weed eating.
Working on the grill, weed eating.
Well, y'all wanted another recipe, and y'all wanted to know how I freeze my eggs, and it was both just simple as can be, because that's what we're all about is simplicity here. And if it works, then that's great.
I'm pretty simple.
You're pretty simple. He's a simple man.
Had a good trip too.
Had a good trip where?
Where'd I just get home from?
Well, I didn't tell him you've been gone.
Oh. Been out to New Mexico and Colorado.
Yeah, he has, y'all. And probably a few videos from now, we're going to get some pictures and stuff together so y'all can see where he's been. He took some really nice pictures. But anyways, he went out to New Mexico and seen some pretty country.
New Clayton, New Mexico.
And we've got some subscribers in New Mexico.
Clayton, New Mexico. And Twinchira, Colorado.
So I didn't get to go on this trip. Maybe someday I will. But anyways, I hope y'all like this video. And we're going to be doing some more egg recipes in the future, because we know that eggs are pretty important on the homestead. I want to thank everybody for all the gifts that y'all sent us. I got a box from the Philippines that had all kinds of snacks in it.
Yeah.
From the Philippines. And we got another box from Canada that had all kinds of goodies in it. And we want to thank y'all very much for just everything that y'all do for us, and you know, your kindness. You send us gifts and the letters and cards, and it's all really nice. So we're going to be back in a couple days. I'm fixing to do some more planting. We got to plant our beans and our okra. It's been raining, so
we got an inch.
So I don't know if I'll get them in this week or not, but it's okay because okra and beans like hotter weather.
So we're having some dangerous weather coming. Boy, they haven't been having it.
Yeah, they have.
Oklahoma last night in Missouri and Nebraska, all the western people really been having some bad weather.
Tornado after tornado after tornado. So
I think there were 9 reported last night at one time in Missouri.
We send our prayers out to everybody and just pray that everybody stays safe through all these storms.
I had a friend in Kansas City last night. They woke them up middle of the night in the hotel and made them get in the basement.
Made them get in the basement? Well, they were taking care of them, weren't they?
Sure were.
Well, that's a good thing. So y'all be safe. If you're in the path of any of these storms, me and Mr. Brown will be watching it tomorrow. We're supposed to have storms coming through Arkansas. So everybody in Arkansas or wherever that these storms are coming through, y'all just pay attention and watch the weather good and be safe. So we got some garden videos coming up, some more cooking, and just all that good stuff.
Change the subject again. I'm thinking about my trip. I met some really nice people out in New Mexico.
You told me you did.
Very nice people. We got invited to a supper and pie auction while we were there by a farmer that we just pulled in, talked to him on the side of the road, talking about doing some hunting, and he gave us a name of some ranchers. I'm talking about ranches like 20,000 acres. And invited us, didn't know us 5 minutes, invited us to a fundraiser, supper, and pie auction.
Well, that was nice. So you got some good country cooking, didn't you?
Well, we had taco salad. It was good.
Mm-hmm. And you bought a pie.
I helped buy a pie.
You helped buy a pie.
The cheapest pie was $200.
But it all went to a good cause, huh?
Yeah, they're trying to save a gym, an old school that was built in 1937.
Now, can you tell them again which little town that was in? Do you remember? The little school?
Amstead, just south of Clayton, New Mexico.
So any of y'all that live out there, y'all know where maybe he's talking about. So anyways, we got to get off here, and we're going to finish our supper. Y'all need to finish your supper, too. We'll see you in a few days. You got any tea?
I got some made. Let me get you some.
Yeah.